Hey cuties, what's up? We're back with some more reactions after dark, and we're of course going to be watching the Dark Side of YouTube number 5, obviously by The Void. Obviously we did number 4 yesterday. I don't know if I'm going to be doing them back to back, like maybe we'll mix in some other Void stuff next week. I don't know, we'll have to see what I end up doing next week after the weekend. No QT for today. I mean, I typically just keep the QT stuff for Stephanie videos. So none of that today. Though the beginning of this video is weird because it starts off with the Mandela catalog, like is it supposed to be Jesus talking, but it's not Jesus. Like it's and what are they called? I just thought of this word the other day too, like when I was thinking about analog horror stuff. It's not another. What are they called? 'Cause it's not just doppelganger. It's alternates. They're called alternates. It's like an alternate pretending to be Jesus as it talks to you. Question mark. I was not expecting to see that at the beginning of this. But yeah, I'm assuming that's just strictly from the Mandela catalog and isn't like from some other sort of media. I'm assuming it is just purely from the Mandela catalog series, which the Mandela catalog series is an analog horror series on YouTube that you can go watch. I mean, I love analog horror, obviously. I mean, I even make analog horror VTubers. I think I made 2. Like, obviously, the newest one is the one with the TV. I don't know if I should switch to that in this video. I'll switch to it real quick just so you know what I'm talking about. You know this one, right? This one. I mean, you can also buy this one on my Kofi because I do have 3 on there, right? We have this one. We have B-Lock, the bunny that I'm normally using, and what is her name? Mind Caslin, which is like a Yu-Gi-Oh! A monster from Yu-Gi-Oh! She's on there too. So we have 3 models on there. I haven't made one in a while, so I need to maybe get around to doing that. I think I was going to make like a very easy generic analog horror one to throw up on there at some point, but yeah. This is what I'm talking about. What I'm saying, like the analog horror model. So should we just keep this on while we watch the beginning of this video, and then I'll switch back to B-Lock once the Mandela catalog thing goes away. But it says like former boy A's confession. There only appears to be 3 things this time around in this video. I don't have this video sped up just because of the analog horror, but whenever the Jesus dialogue goes away, then we'll switch back.
I know what you love. I know what you dread.
I was kind of hoping that would like last longer. I think you'd actually play out the Mandela catalog thing there. But yeah, viewer discretion is advised. Also, go watch the Mandela catalog if you haven't already, and all the analog horror that you can find on YouTube. Go do that. But we probably should go back and see what that was. Yeah, content warning: the video contains stories and imagery that some viewers may find disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised, and all that. Oh yeah, now we can get this to normal 1.5.
YouTube has been around for so long that sometimes old stories find new ways to resurface. Videos that look ordinary at first, but carry something heavier once you know where they came from. A few years ago, a small...
Konnichiwa. And then something A, that's just like hello. And then... is it like student A? Like, I don't know what's like small year. I guess it would be like students, like small year, so boy or youth. Yeah, small year must mean youth A, but like what does the symbol up front mean? So something youth A.
Japanese channel appeared with a single upload. Its title translated to Former Boy A's Sin and Confession.
Former boy. Where it says former boy, but I don't see the word for male in there. If that first symbol is supposed to be former, I just see whatever the symbol is, then maybe small, and then year, but maybe this symbol here is confusing because maybe it's not the same usually, but yeah.
To most people, it wouldn't be given a second thought, but anyone familiar with that name would recognize it instantly. Boy A was the pseudonym given to a 14-year-old boy who, in 1997, committed one of Japan's most horrific crimes. And after decades of silence, someone claiming to be him had returned to speak again.
I have no clue what this is or what he means by that.
But this time, on YouTube.
Okay, former boy A's confession.
We'll return after these messages.
This message is
Oh,
sponsored.
I was like, what, we got an ad? What is the link? So, buyraycon.com/the void open. That's weird. This is not just the void, it's the void open. So again, that is buyraycon.com/the void open. That was a pretty long ad there. Yeah, once again, buyraycon.com/the void open.
In 1997, a 14-year-old boy living in Kobe carried out a series of attacks that would become one of the most disturbing cases in Japan's history. On March 16th, he struck a 10-year-old girl named Ayaka Yamashita with a hammer near a residential building. She died a week later. Only 10 minutes after that attack, he stabbed another 9-year-old girl outside a nearby park, injuring her. That same day, he wrote in his diary that he had performed what he called sacred experiments to see how fragile people were. When he learned that Ayaka had died...
Okay, so he's just a psychopath, right? So, like, why would a kid want to do this kinds of stuff? And he was just unfortunately born a psychopath. There's nothing we could do about that.
He wrote again, thanking a deity he said he had created in childhood, something he called Bamoidokishin.
I want to see that.
He wrote again, thanking a deity he said he had created in childhood, something he called Bamoidokishin.
Yeah. Ba moi do oki. I probably shouldn't even be saying that.
2 months later, he attacked again. On May 24th, he met an 11-year-old boy named Jun Hasa and told him he wanted to show him a turtle. He led him to a wooded area and strangled him with his shoelaces. The next day, he returned to the scene, decapitated the body, and took the head with him. Early the next morning, he left the head outside the gate of a local junior high school. The eye sockets were empty, and each had X-shaped cut marks. The mouth was cut open to the ears, and there was a note on the tongue. It read, "Now the game begins. Stupid police officers, try to stop me. I find killing extremely enjoyable." He signed it, Sakakibara, the school murderer. Police believe...
Yeah, like, if you see some crazy stuff like this, it's like, you expect an adult to be doing something like this, right? Would you ever expect a single digit? Was he a single digit? By that, I mean, I'm referring to someone who is of age that is only in the single digits. So was he a single digit, or was he in his teens, preteen, teenager, or whatnot? I didn't catch, like, what his age at the beginning.
Believed at first that the killer was an adult.
Yeah, obviously. Like, why would you ever believe anything or any sort of killing like this is going to be a child, right? Your first assumption is, of course, going to be an adult male. Unfortunately, that's just what you're going to assume. And then, if you have to, then maybe a woman, if it's going to be there, and then a child. I mean, I think even like a child, I feel like he might even be like animal, even though we have written things being said about the situation. I feel like you'd almost assume an animal before a child, no?
The writing was formal, and the language seemed educated. But a few weeks later, they traced the note back to a 14-year-old boy named Shinichiro Azuma.
Okay, so he's 14.
When questioned,
Teenager.
he confessed. He admitted to killing Jun Hase and Ayaka Yamashita, and to attacking several other girls. He even showed the police where he murdered Jun Hase, claiming he hid the body and returned with a handsaw and rubbish bag the next day to cut off the head and take it home. It's even reported he drank the blood he had collected in the bag, played with the head, and even ejaculated on it before cleaning it and disfiguring it. He was charged with murder and placed in a juvenile facility.
Just juvenile, but like, where do you put like a psychopath serial killer? That's a child? Question mark. I think he was doing some of that before he was a teenager too, right? It's just like the newest things where he was specifically antagonizing the police was when he was a teenager.
Not much is known about his early childhood, but it's clear that his fascination with violence began young. He enjoyed playing with dangerous objects, writing that he could ease his irritation when holding a survival knife or spinning scissors in his hand. By elementary school, he was already torturing and killing animals.
Again, just psychopath. Unless we want to believe in reincarnation and he just happened to be like a crazy person in his last life. Right? And then just being reborn and he didn't lose any of that. Evilness? I don't know what you would want to call it. Or just being a weirdo with it. Like he was talking about, he said he created a deity or did he summon one? Right? Like I'm assuming they would have some sort of feelings of like, okay, I don't know, this is kind of getting kind of weird. Maybe some sort of evil spirit does have a hold on this boy. I feel like they might be more inclined to believe something like that over there than over here, because over here you say something like that, that's no one's gonna let that fly, right? No one actually believes that stuff is possible. So that wouldn't fly, but it's not going to fly over there, but they might actually still believe it. You're still going to go to jail and whatnot, right? I would assume, and then get punished. I don't know if they have the death penalty or not, but they still might at least assume that there's something evil going on with you.
He once described lining up frogs on the road and running over them with his bicycle, and later admitted to mutilating cats and decapitating pigeons. Despite warnings from social workers that he was unstable, his mother pushed him to focus on exams and get into a good school. That pressure, mixed with his aggression and violent impulses, made it difficult for him to connect with anyone around him. Psychological evaluations later revealed that he showed signs of conduct disorder, depersonalization, and sexual sadism. He said that violence and death aroused him, and that he viewed people as vegetables, lacking any worth.
Again, psychopath. Like I already figured that out from the very first action that he made. So, I mean, people should have like done something, right?
In court, he expressed no remorse, claiming that the murders were justified. He was sentenced to an indefinite stay at a juvenile medical training school.
Indefinite stay? Does that mean the rest of his life? Because he can't stay there forever, because he's not going to be a juvenile forever.
And finished his rehabilitation after 6 years, released at the age of 21. Under Japan's juvenile law, his identity was hidden, and from that point on, he was referred to as Boy A. His real name, Shinichiro Azuma, was only made public later through tabloid leaks. In 2015, Azuma resurfaced. He released a book titled Zeka, where he wrote about the murders in explicit detail and claimed to express regret. The book was banned in some stores, but it still became a bestseller. Shortly after, he launched a personal website that included nude photos of a man he claimed was himself. The site drew intense criticism and led the magazine Shukan Post to publish his name, photograph, and the city where he lived at the time. Even though his crimes led Japan's government to lower the age of criminal responsibility from 16 to 14, Azuma served only 6 years before being freed. Now, in his late 30s...
He was saying that what he did made them lower the number that you can be tried as an adult? Is that what that's supposed to mean? Not necessarily tried as an adult, but at least be more severely punished than just spending a few years in juvie and then being let out into the world as an adult.
He's believed to be living quietly, away from public attention. For most people, that was the end of the story. The case disappeared from the news, and the person once known as Boy A faded from view. But years later, his name appeared again. Not in headlines, but on YouTube.
Wasn't that the name of one of the girls he killed? I think.
First came across the channel through a post on the Deep Into YouTube subreddit. Someone had found a Japanese channel called Former Boy A's Original Sin and Confession, created on New Year's Eve in 2020. The description reads, "Hello, I am former juvenile A. 25 years have passed since the incident I committed. The guilt I carried at age 14 has turned into original sin, and it still haunts me to this day. I have expressed my opinions through various media outlets, but this time I would like to share my clear words with everyone through the largest medium possible, YouTube. There is someone using my name on YouTube, but this is a fake. Please be aware of this. There's only one video on the channel, simply called Hello. A text-to-speech voice reads a message in Japanese, while a single symbol sits in the center of the screen.
It's very Uzumaki, right? It feels kind of Uzumaki-ish, so I should say it feels very Junji Ito, this picture here on the screen, and I don't know what the heck that is on top. Right on the inner, it's not really a swirl, but we'll say like the inner swirl here, the outer swirl. I mean, I don't know what this is. Like it looks like a two-headed freak thing, but I don't know what. I mean, honestly, it looks like just like two chicken heads attached to something, like just a body.
The same one that once appeared on his personal website, where he posted the images of his supposed self. The video itself is only a minute long.
Why is he using a little boy voice? I mean, I'm guessing for emphasis. 25 years have passed since the incident I committed. The guilt I bore that day has turned into ritual sins. It's just the same thing you were saying earlier. Still crawls down my back and tangles my feet. I've already returned to society and I am living my life, so it is not possible for me to give you my real voice. I mean, everyone knows who he is though, right? So it doesn't really matter. Unfortunately, I am unable to deliver my transparent voice, cursed by the red and white, to all of you. Cursed by the red and white. Should I even be reading this? What if it is like some sort of superstition stuff? And it's like demon making us read this stuff and then reading it cursed, right? However, even though I am transparent, I still have words. The words to communicate my intentions are not lost. Up until now, I have been conveying words rather than a voice with a soul through various mediums. And 25 years have passed that night without God. That's why I'm going to start something on YouTube. I've been thinking about doing it for a while, but never got around to doing. Please listen to my transparent confession.
The line that stands out most is when he says his voice is cursed by red and white. In Japan, those
Yeah, I mean, red's like a nice color, but
colors are usually seen together during celebrations. Red represents life and vitality. White is purity, but it is also used in funerals and mourning. Together, they symbolize both life and death. So when he says he is cursed by red and white, it could be a way of describing that balance. The idea that he's alive, but bound to the deaths he caused. That what he did still follows him, even after 25 years. The writing on the channel is almost identical to what appears.
There's that monster. I thought it was kind of like a slug, so it's just a slug. It's not like chicken heads, it's just a pure slug.
On his website and in his book, and the symbols are exactly the same. Before launching that site, he sent a letter to a magazine saying he was ready to stop if no one reacted, as if the attention itself was part of what he wanted. As for the video itself, it feels too specific to be random. There's no way to know if the person behind the channel is really Boy A. It could be him, or it could be someone pretending to be. In the video, he said he was planning to start something on YouTube, but 3 years later, that never happened. The channel remains empty, frozen on that single message.
And it's only 18 subscribers, so...
But maybe that was the point. To leave one final message. To just disappear once again.
Is that it? There's still a huge section there at the end.
It isn't unusual to find old YouTube channels that were left behind. The site is filled with them. Small vlogs, home movies, and people talking to a camera in their bedroom, all forgotten as the years pass. Most of them disappear without anyone noticing. But sometimes, you come across a channel that feels different once you learn who it belonged to. A quiet collection of vlogs, drawings, and diary-style posts that seemed harmless at the time, but came from someone whose life was far more disturbing than anything he ever uploaded. And in this case, the channel wasn't abandoned because its creator lost interest. It stopped for a reason far darker than anyone could have expected.
Dr. Nick? Alusbait? I don't know. I'm Dr. Nick, I guess.
Nikolaus Boyd Stautzenberger, known online as Nick Bate, was born in 1991 and grew up in Pennsylvania. His early life wasn't stable. Relatives have said his father struggled with alcohol and could be abusive, and his parents divorced when Nick was 10. He later lived with his mother and aunt, and he had a younger half-sister called Amber, from his father's next relationship. In school, he was placed in emotional support classes. Teachers described him as smart and funny, but also quiet and easily irritated by noise. By 7th grade, he was homeschooled by his mother and aunt, and stayed that way until he finished high school. After graduating, his aunt helped him apply for Social Security benefits. Nick said online that he had autism, though a later psychiatric evaluation noted that he met cognitive milestones that some autistic individuals do not. He was diagnosed with anxiety and depression, and took medication for both. He also talked openly about parts of his personal life that drew attention on the internet. He said he liked to cross-dress and wear women's underwear, with some of his earliest online activity going back to 2007 and 2008 on LiveJournal and
Sure. He would not be old enough to be out of high school yet, so he was doing this in high school, because he said he was born in 91, right? So I would know that he's still a teenager at this point.
Around that time, he was noticed by users of 789chan, where his channel was discovered. The channel's name was Dr. Nicholas Bate, created in 2009. Most of the videos were simple vlogs, house tours of the trailer he lived in, clips with his family, and comedy-style skits. 2 years later, he created a second channel called Constant Butts, where he posted the same kind of content.
2 years later, so we're in 2011. 2009, he might have still been in school. 2010, he would have graduated for sure. So 2011, he's already out of school. Maybe college, but he might just be living with his parents.
Over time.
Tinfoil hat, though. That means something.
Years later, he created a second channel called Constant Butts, where he posted the same kind of content. Over time, viewers noticed how unusual his habits were. Nick often talked openly about not showering or brushing his teeth, and his videos showed the impact of that. His teeth were rotting, and 2 of his front teeth had been pushed backward. Nick also talked openly about being a coprophiliac, which is someone having an attraction to feces.
I was like, I did not know what that was, so I didn't need to know what that was. But the other stuff is just standard, like, hyper depression. I wouldn't say the symptoms, right? Saying a symptom, calling it a symptom is weird. Like, consequences, maybe? I don't know. Consequences is also another word of, like, super depression, right? I don't know what it's called. Just, like, being depressed out of your mind will probably lead you to not taking a shower, not cleaning, not brushing your teeth, not doing anything.
Some of his videos even showed parts of his room covered in feces, and he even spoke about this on Twitter too. Viewers also commented on how unhygienic his living space was, and he spoke casually about it, in a way that made many people uncomfortable.
And again, like, not cleaning your living space.
He also said he didn't want a job, and wanted instead to be a house husband to someone underaged.
What is it? What do you mean, to someone underage? How can you be a house husband to someone who is possibly too young to work? What do you mean by that? You want to be... I feel like it would have been the other way around. Like, you need to be a house husband to a quote-unquote cougar, question mark, who actually has a lot of money, who has amassed a lot of money.
And during a psychiatric evaluation in 2015, he even said he had experienced intrusive thoughts toward his mother, stepfather, and aunt during arguments at home, although...
You mean violent, intrusive thoughts?
He said he would never act on them. One of the people who appears most...
Okay, I was like, this looks familiar, but not really. Okay, now I know where we're at now. It's this guy. I've seen this guy before. He's going to be playing with his sister here. This is his sister. Is this the guy who makes the clay things? The clay animations or something? I don't know if this is him or not.
Nick's videos is his half-sister, Amber. She shows up in multiple uploads, usually as the main focus of whatever he's filming. There's a video titled Amber's Birthday, 2010, a simple home recording of her celebrating her birthday. Another upload is called LARPing with Amber, where the two are outside in the front yard playing with sticks. The description for that one reads, I LARP with my half-sister just days before our sticks were tragically stolen from us by our douchebag mum because I'm too old to be playing with sticks. Dumb bitch.
Okay, I was not expecting that to be in the description. Question mark. I figured I wouldn't have assumed anything like that, right? Like, such vitriol, they said, what we would be using here in the description. I forget what he did. What did he do? I don't remember. I know he's going to do something bad to his sister, but I don't know how bad or remember how bad.
Videos just look like awkward vlogs with a younger sibling, but once you dig deeper into who Nick was online, they start to feel very different. Years before these uploads resurfaced, leaked Skype recordings from 2008 and 2009 showed him openly admitting his attraction to underage children. He argued that it should be normalized and legalized in the United States, but claimed he would never cross certain lines. But that claim wouldn't hold up. In April 2015, police arrested Nick and charged him with assaulting his half-sister. According to investigators, the abuse happened between 2009 and 2010, when she was only 5 to 7 years old.
Oof. 2009, he would have been 18, I think.
The exact same period when those innocent-looking videos were being uploaded. The abuse happened in a home in Manor Township, a second-class township in west-central Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. During the trial, she testified about what occurred, and prosecutors presented a transcript of an online chat where Nick described the abuse to someone else. The judge sentenced him to 16.5 to 40 years in state prison.
40?
Ordering lifetime registration under Megan's law. He's since attempted to appeal his sentence 2 times, but both were denied. YouTube has a weird way of pulling you into someone's life without you even realizing it.
Like, I forget about the guy who was doing the clay things. Was he talking? Was the guy who was doing the clay animations online, was he the one talking to some girl, like, who's supposed to be his girlfriend, and talking to her about this? Or was that this guy who had a quote-unquote girlfriend or some sort of friend that's a female online, and he was telling her about the messed up stuff that he did with his sister? Like, there's a whole bigger story here, but he's just glossing over that, I think. I think there's a whole, like, friend involved with this case as well, of, like, him admitting to her what he had done. Friend/girlfriend.
In Nick's case, it meant watching a person who didn't care about how he looked, how he lived, or how he presented himself to the world. Someone who recorded moments of his life, with no filter or hesitation. But the part that stays with you isn't the mess, or the hygiene, or even the strange habits. It's knowing what was happening behind the scenes. Knowing that while he was uploading those harmless home videos with his younger half-sister, he was also doing things no one knew about. Things he had admitted to online, long before anyone realized how serious it really was. It makes those old clips feel different now. They look the same as they always did, but once you understand the context, it's impossible to watch them without feeling sick. His channel is still up. Some video...
Oh yeah, how is this channel still up? If YouTube should know who this guy is by now, right? So why is it still up?
Are gone, but many are still there, sitting exactly where he left them. A record of someone who treated YouTube like a diary, even as he carried the weight of something far darker. And sometimes that's the most unsettling part. Not what's filmed, but what was happening when the camera wasn't rolling. On YouTube.
Yeah, but again, I've seen that one before, but I think there's a lot more to that one than just what we saw here. I forget who did the video on this guy. Question mark, but we have seen it in prior reactions after darks before.
YouTube, there's a creator known as Jupiter Joe. His videos show him setting up telescopes on sidewalks, teaching people how to find constellations, and explaining the basics of astronomy. He made it his mission to bring the stars a little closer to the city, and
yeah, whatever's happening here, I don't think I've seen this one before, so this probably is going to be new.
To let anyone, especially kids, see what's above them. He wasn't famous, but in his community, people knew him. He ran small workshops, volunteered at schools, and talked about space with a kind of passion that made it hard not to listen. But behind the person in those clips, there's another story. One that started long before his first upload, and ended in a way no one expected.
Jupiter Joe. So we're saying this is a bad guy?
The man behind the channel was Joseph Martinez. It has just under 300 subscribers and fewer than 25 videos. Most of them showed footage he filmed himself, like close-ups of the moon, shots of his days out stargazing, and even a clip of the International Space Station crossing the moon. He used the channel to share his love of astronomy. On his website, he wrote about wanting to bring that same fascination to his community in the Bronx, especially to kids who didn't have many chances to experience science outside of school. His goal was to make people curious, to help them look through the telescope and ask one simple question: what else is out there? He came across as calm, patient, and genuine, someone who loved what he did and wanted to share it with anyone who would stop to listen. But long before those videos were uploaded, another story had already begun. Back in February 24th, 1999, 13-year-old Minalise Soriano left her middle school in the Bronx to walk home, but she never arrived. Her family reported her missing, and for 3 days, there was no sign of where she had gone.
So we're going to say that he did something to her, and has just been hiding that fact all this time, pretending to be some sort of, like, upstanding astronomy teacher, basically, for free. I don't know if he's doing this for free, right? I don't know if he's actually, like, a real teacher or not, but we just know that he's giving a space for kids to get involved with astronomy. Though, is that just a cover-up so that he can get close to kids, or is he genuinely just in love with astronomy?
On February 28th, her body was found. She had been bound, wrapped in a garbage bag, and dumped inside a dumpster behind a video store in the Co-op City area of the Bronx, not far from where she lived. The medical examiner determined that she had been strangled and sexually assaulted. Minalise, who went by Minnie, wasn't the kind of girl anyone expected to vanish. She was a straight-A student who wrote poetry in her journal about love and rainbows. She told people she wanted to be an astronaut one day. Detectives treated the case as a priority. They started close to home, looking at people who had access to her and knew her routine. Her stepfather was questioned, as was a handyman at the apartment complex, along with...
And, like, the parents are always going to be the first to be investigated. Well, the people closest to them, and obviously that's going to be the dad first.
Access to her and knew her routine. Her stepfather was questioned, as was the handyman at the apartment complex, along with neighbours, relatives, and many of her friends, but each of them was eventually cleared. The one thing the killer left behind was a small patch of DNA on her clothing. At the time, there was no match in any database. The sample was stored, but without a name to attach it to, there was nowhere else to go.
Well, is he going to end up doing something that gets his DNA put into the database and then it'll hit a match? I wonder how that stuff works. Like, they need to have, if they don't already, like, have a system where as soon as something gets added into the DNA base, and like every day their like DNA, like their huge list of DNA is just being matched to whatever they find every day, right? To try to see if it hits anything. And if it does hit something, then someone somewhere gets a ping to be like, hey, we have a match for so and so. And then everyone just goes nuts, right? To go and figure out what's going on. Because I'm wondering if someone has to actively keep checking, or if they just have a computer somewhere all over the place, a computer in every district or whatever, just constantly pinging off new DNA traces that have been uploaded into some whatever database of DNA, right? And it's just checking every day. It just does its normal maintenance, daily maintenance. Okay, here's all the new DNA that's been added to the overall DNA of humanity that's been cataloged. Let me run all of these lists of DNA against all these other new DNAs. Like, no. Oh, yes, we got a match here. Email this to so and so many people. Give them notifications. I know. Have like a horn blaring or something. Something, right? I don't know how it works.
As weeks turned into months, the investigation slowed. New cases came in, attention shifted, and the leads that detectives once had dried up. Minalee's murder stayed open, but there were no suspects or arrests, and nothing new to go on. For more than 20 years, her case sat as one of many unsolved files.
Okay, 20 years. So he might have been, if they were saying it was him, he might have been also a kid when this happened.
Waiting for a break that never seemed like it would come. But in 2021, detectives with the NYPD decided to try something new. They turned to a method known as familial DNA testing. Unlike standard searches that require an exact match, this technique looks for partial matches, relatives of whoever left the evidence behind. When the sample from Minalee's sweatshirt was tested again, it produced a close match to a man who had already died, whose DNA was in a database after a sexual abuse arrest. That man had a son, and his name was Joseph Martinez.
Okay, so it's slightly matched, right? Because it's his father. So I guess if you can do that to get a half match, I was like, okay, we've got a half match here, which means probably the children of this person did it, which is, I'm assuming that's the entire point of that. I think I've heard of this before, though, right? This is not the first time I'm hearing that you can catch someone by having DNA of, like, their parent or something, and then seeing stuff align correctly. I'm assuming maybe grandparents, like a quarter match. It's like, hold on, we got a quarter match here. We need to try the grandchild.
Martinez had lived in the same Bronx apartment building as the Soriano family in 1999. When detectives reviewed the original files, they saw that he'd even been questioned during the first investigation. He had told police he saw Minalee's getting mail in the lobby and selling candy from door to door with her sister. At the time, nothing about that seemed suspicious, and he was cleared. But now, detectives began to re-examine everything. They built a family tree based on the DNA link to Martinez's father and narrowed it down to 5 potential relatives. From there, they used old tenant listings, immigration records, and physical descriptions to eliminate names one by one. The list got smaller until only 3 people were left, and one of them was Joseph Martinez.
Of course.
He posed as a mother looking to book an astronomy lesson for her daughter, meeting Martinez at a diner in New Rochelle where he was living at the time. After he left, she collected the straw he had used and sent it for testing, and the results came back conclusive. The DNA from Minalee's sweatshirt was an exact match to Joseph Martinez.
Is that legal, though, to snatch someone's DNA like that against their will, without their consent? I mean, it doesn't really matter, right? He's a criminal, so whatever, but I don't know if there's any sort of, like, it matters because you can use it as a defense to be like, hey, they illegally obtained this DNA, therefore I cannot be charged with this crime, yada, 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 right? It allows the defense to have an out to having him get away with it, is what I'm trying to say. That's why it matters how they obtained the DNA. I don't know if that's something that happens, or if you can just get DNA however you want, it doesn't matter. Like, any way is fine. There's no illegal way to obtain DNA.
After more than 2 decades, they had their suspect, the man who taught astronomy to children across New York City, the man known online as Jupiter Joe. On November 30th, 2021, Joseph Martinez was arrested by the NYPD. He was 49 years old. Prosecutors charged him with murder.
Okay, 49? So he was 29 or so. He was in his 20s at least when he did this.
And in court, he pleaded not guilty. At the time of this video's release, his trial is still ongoing.
Okay, still ongoing. So we have a trial that isn't finished yet. I mean, I don't know if we usually get any sort of stories for the Void that don't end up being concluded. And a lot of things I had been watching in the Brad video end up like not being concluded. You know, a lot of Stephanie videos, newer Stephanie videos, she talks about things that are new, so there's no conclusion. A lot of the Dark Asia with Megan videos, they have a lot of non-conclusions because it's just too soon that we've been talking about them, that you just don't know how they end up. So I guess now with the Void we have something that is not yet done. When was this? This was 5 months ago, so probably still not concluded.
What makes this case so hard to process is who he became afterward. A man who spent his nights teaching children about the stars, someone parents trusted, who encouraged kids to dream about space, all while carrying the memory of what he'd done to a 13-year-old girl who shared that same fascination. It's just as disturbing to think about how long this went unsolved. For more than 20 years, her killer lived freely, creating videos, running events, and meeting families who never knew who he really was. Watching his channel now feels different. The same voice that once talked about curiosity and wonder belonged to a man hiding the darkest secret imaginable, and he carried that secret for over 2 decades. But the truth never really disappeared. It just waited to be found.
This is a quote from her. I spread my colors orange, pink, and blue down from the sky to look down on you. 86 to 99. And that is going to be it for today. So this one is just the first story. It's like he's just running around out there, but I mean, maybe he's not crazy anymore, but like, I feel like if you're born a psychopath, you don't stop being a psychopath. Like, you were just born wrong, and getting therapy or something or whatever they're going to say they're going to do, just it's not going to do anything. Because I feel like it's just like your brain developed in a way that it's just permanent, right? Because it's just how your brain is. It's not something so words are going to fix, right? So I don't know if that's going to change. And how many people did he kill, though? Because I think he killed, like, when he was younger, a girl. She ended up dying. She didn't die immediately. She ended up dying, and he strangled a boy as well. And I don't know if there's any others before or after that. So it was at least 2, but all he got was 6 years in juvie. And then now has been free for who knows how long. Decades at this point now. And of course this guy, like, again, I already have seen this one. A lot of pictures in here that I don't remember or seen before, so I didn't really know who this was right off the bat until I saw the younger sister. Like, I remember seeing her, so I was like, oh, okay, this is that one. Again, I don't know what video it was that the stories come up before in, but I believe there is, if this is not the one with the clay guy, the guy making clay snuff, then it would be this one. And this one, he had a quote-unquote girlfriend / friend that he confided in his like maybe what he did / his fetish or whatever. So I don't know if that is this one. He left it out, but maybe that is this one. You'd have to go find whoever else has talked about this or have already seen it in the videos that I've reacted to. This one's just unfortunate. We don't know what's going to happen because this isn't a case that's closed yet. I mean, we have to assume it is just this guy, no matter how nice he seems on the outside now. He did commit evil, so it's been over 20 years. It was like 25 years or something? 25 years? I'm guessing there's no statute of limitations on that, so hopefully he does get, I guess, I don't know, I would assume he's get the rest of his life in jail, right? He's already pretty old, so all they need to throw at him is like another 40 or something, and then he's in jail for life. Okay, cuties, that is going to be it for today. So cuties, thanks for watching. Tune into the next episode. Well, I'm already ending the video. Hold on. We're not ending the video. We got to do the whole other spiel. Say, Kyuuties, thanks for watching. Remember to buy my stickers. And think about becoming a member. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed, because we're getting watch time and subscribers. And don't forget, we have a throne now as well. And shout out to the members, EmmyStarr, RaleyDrew, and alexgkiller 880. Yeah, Kyuuties, thanks for watching. Tune into the next episode. Like, subscribe, hype, and comment. You'll do. See ya.